YouTube. Hey man, you guys are going crazy on my last center tutorial where I basically broke it down for brand new players, for people that want to learn how to play center from ground zero. I showed you guys the ropes, showed you guys the mentality you need to have as a center, some good builds, and the most basic things you need to do in games to win more. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys another in-depth gameplay breakdown. I mean, we're going to get into this gameplay and break it down frame by frame so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what's the best, most efficient way possible to improve as a player. All I ask for you guys watching the video is please sit down, and since you clicked on this video, I promise you if you see it through and you watch the entire thing, you are going to get better. If you truly put your mind to being a better center and you really do listen to what I tell you and you practice it, you will get much better very fast. And in this video, it's going to be the gameplay factor, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. But first, I just want to go ahead and tell you guys I stream on Twitch 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please check in and pin comments. And we're going to go over real quick the mentality of a center and what you need to do in the mind, because this center position is very hard to play if you have a bad mindset. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what you need to do before you make a center and as you're playing it, and then we're going to break down the gameplay. Just want to hop into this right before the gameplay. Just as a rule of thumb, if you make a center, please max out the rebounding, please make him strong for brick wall legend, and please put a high pass accuracy on it. You are a support player, you are a team player, you need to make a build that helps get your guards open, that your teammates want to play with you, and you can throw the fast break so you can win more games even by yourself. So make a build kind of like this. You can add shooting if you like to, but you need to be strong, you need to be high rebound, and you need pass accuracy more than you think. Minimum 87, definitely 93 is the sweet spot. And I just want to break it down for you guys. As a center, do not come into this thinking you need to score the ball. Do not come into this thinking the game's about you. If you come into this thing as a mindset where like, all right, let me get in the court, you're a support player, right? So you need to, how can I get my guards open? How can I get every rebound? How can I throw fast breaks? If I get hit late in the paint, how can I get the ball late, see my shooter, kick it to him? How can I win games and positively impact my team as a team player? If you're going to be a selfish player as center, you are not going to improve like you want to. So please, if you have this problem now, I know it's hard to adjust, but you really have to swallow that pride and go ahead and help your team win these games by throwing outlets and having the mentality switch. That's the biggest thing. If you're willing to be a team player, you will be a great center if you put in the work. Yes, sir. So we got the gameplay loaded up for you guys. Without further ado, I'm going to hop right into it, man. We ain't going to bullshit y'all. We going to get right to the nitty gritty, my man. So check this out. As a center, you must set screens. And when you set them, right here in this position is not where you want to set them. You want your back foot to be on the 3-point line. When you set your screens, never be below the 3-point line or halfway on it. I'm going to show you guys real quick where you should be. So right about here is where you want to be setting these screens, okay? So not below the 3-point line, right about this height is where these screens need to be set. So I didn't line it up good the first time, but that's besides the point. When you set screens, please make sure you're doing it about a foot above the 3-point line for your guards so they could get open and shoot the three. And also, whenever they use a screen and you clip him, it gives you more space because they're higher up. It gives you more space to get to the paint. So when the guard hits you, they got to cover more ground to get back to you. So we're going to go ahead and let this clip play out. Okay, do you see what I did? I let it play out one time. We're going to break that down. So here's what you guys need to be doing. When you set these screens, the first thing you need to do is make sure you hit the person you're screening. Make sure you line yourself up and make contact. That's the first thing. Now, if you see how the second defender is behind me and then the defender's guarding him, my job right now is to hit the defender guarding my PG. Now look, the second guy behind me steps up. So when you see him ever come up to your height, and the lock is also like they're basically level with you on the court, that is your cue to slip to the paint. Now, as I take this slip, the PG hits me a little late. So as you're slipping, pay attention to the court. Like you could basically slip right here and be like, all right, I'm going to go dunk the ball. Now, guess what? You get the ball late. You're like, okay, I was going to go dunk the ball. You go up, there's a defender on you. Now you're like, oh no, what do I do? So what I do when I play, when I'm slipping to the paint, I know I'm going to the rim. Like, there's no reason for me to watch myself go to the rim. So as I'm slipping, I'm looking at my teammates. I'm like, okay, left corner's covered, right corner's covered. Look at the left hash. Look at the left wing. So I see him open. So I'm observing this as I'm rolling to the paint. Your job as a big man is, if you don't get this dunk, you need to make the extra pass instantly. That will make you an elite big. If you can read the court as you're slipping, because right now it looks like you're trying to concentrate, but you know you're going to the rim. All you're doing is holding your stick and holding your turbo. So I call this dead time. So during your dead time, when you're doing something that's completely brain dead, read the court. So that's why when I touch this ball and he hits me late, when you get hit late on the slips, do not get frustrated. That's why I'm saying your guard isn't going to be perfect. So help him get open. And if he hits you late, instead of complaining, instead of getting mad, I'm already reading the court. I didn't get the ball yet. So I know in my head, all right, when I touch this, it's going to the left wing. Watch. I get it. It's an immediate pass. This could have been a wide open shot, but they do jump at it. If he didn't jump, that would have been an open shot. Would have been a great pass. And when you get boxed out, here's another thing too, guys. So when you get boxed out, I'm going to teach you guys how to swim box outs, right? So you guys might have to zoom in on the face scan or the face cam for this. So right now I'm boxed. The way box outs work, you're holding L2 during the whole process. All you have to do is, the game tells you to move your stick left and right, depending on which way you want to swim. But the game won't tell you this. I've been doing this for years. It is a great tactic. When you're boxed out and you're holding L2 and you're trying to swim this box out, spam circle. There's something about spamming circle while you're moving your stick that helps you kind of like shove them out of the way. So whenever you're directly boxed out in front of the rim, you can swim either way. That's besides the point. I will make a rebounding tutorial later on. It gets more in depth about box outs. But just as a general rule of thumb, when you're going to swim your box outs, not only hold your left trigger and move your stick, spam circle. But check this out. Look, I swim the box out, right? I get the rebound. And look, my first read, like when you're getting this rebound, look to your right. Like check your corners first. When you get the board, always check your corners. Corners open, immediately throw it. If you pull the rebound down and the corners are covered, look up at the wings. So, dang, corners are covered. Look up to the wings. Make your reads. The first read's the corner. The second read's the wing. And then the third read is going to be you open for a dunk. But look to pass to the corner and then the wing. Look, immediate pass. Boom. He takes his time. I keep my position as a big. Here's another thing, too, you guys might screw up on when you're learning how to play big. So, as a big man, when you throw this pass, you get 3 seconds in the paint. But in 2K, it's like 5 to 6 seconds. So check this out. If you see a teammate that's open, don't lose your position in the paint. Like if you expect your teammate to do the right thing. You do your part, they do their part. If they ruin the play, it's on them. But I keep my position. My teammate gets the ball, and it's a wide open 3. But if he missed, I would have been there for the rebound. So this clip here is going to go over why the placement of your screen is so important and why I tell you to always set it a little above the 3-point line. So when I go to set this screen, look at my position. Where am I? I'm about that 1 foot above the line like I tell you. So when you clip that defender, look what happens. Not only am I taking him out of the play, that guy that was playing behind me is forced to step up very high. Now, usually in rec, especially solo rec, a center is going to be playing you while you're setting these screens. So the center is automatically going to want to guard the paint. So you will get your guard so many wide open threes just by setting a proper screen. If you're playing with a good guard, he will love you. The better you can set these screens, and the whole objective of center is to get more players to want to play with you. To become a better big, you got to get better players around you. So when you start setting screens like this, they're going to want to play. And check this out. So since he gets clipped at the 3-point line, my guard has about 2 feet of space. He can shoot this at any point he wants. But what he does is he runs out that big, sees if he's going to be there. Look, my guard's usually the guard is much faster than the second defender. So when you set a good screen, he's going to get a wide open shot every time. And all you need to do is get straight to the paint, get around, and when you dive to the paint for rebounds, regardless of the situation, always, like the biggest man on the court is the guy that's picking up the PG. As soon as I set this screen, I'm going down. And on my way, I'm paying attention. Like when you slip to the paint for a rebound, you see the guy on the right side of the box. Make sure you don't run directly into him, because if you do, he will box you out. You won't get the board. So when you're going to the paint, navigate. Like, go at an angle. Try to wrap around people. But your objective here is to beat everybody to the dead zone of the floor. The dead zone of the floor is right where I stay. Boom. Look, if he misses this shot, and because as soon as I touch his paint, say my guard misses that shot, I'm immediately, when I get to this point of the game, boom, right? My guard shot it, he misses it. When I get to here, I beat the center to the dead zone, which is under the basket. I'm immediately holding L2, pushing my stick towards him, and getting that box out. And that's going to be a free rebound. So my guard gets a wide open shot because of my screen. And if he misses, my mind says, boom, screen. All right, bet. Now how can I get this rebound, right? Boom, box his ass out. I'm going to get that board every time. Now, this is why you guys need a high pass accuracy, especially in solo rec too. If you go in solo rec, you will win 50% more games just by getting the rebound and throwing the fast break. Because everybody knows in solo rec, whenever you're in there, the half-court offense is cooked. PG don't want to shoot the ball when he's open. He want to overpass, get 10 turnovers. Nobody wants to space the floor. People are afraid to shoot in the easiest shooting 2K ever. So what can you do as a big man to win more games and help help stop the trolling offense? Is when you get a rebound, look, I immediately throw it down. And it's always going to be a bucket. So always throw your fast breaks, and that's why the pass accuracy matters so much. Throw your breaks. So in this clip, we're going to go ahead and show you guys how to get to the paint and get around players so you don't get boxed out. This is actually a very good tip that you should be consciously trying to improve at every moment of every game. So when you set your screen and your guard goes to shoot, here's the situation, right? You're like, oh, I always get boxed out when I go to the paint. So check this out. Look, guard shoots. Now, 10 times out of 10, if that was a good center in front of me, instead of running, because so many centers do this and you will notice it. Notice how whenever my guard shoots it, he immediately runs to the rim. And he goes right under it and just sits still, right? So if he was a good player, he would actually stop about here, meet me halfway, and box me out, but he doesn't. So here's how you get a lot of free rebounds when you're going to the paint. When your guard shoots and you want free rebounds, look at this. And it comes down to the finest details. As I slip, look, I get to here, and look, you notice how I don't run into him? When you're going, always think of it like you're a wide receiver in NFL and you got a safety trying to get you. Like, they're always trying to juke, maneuver, get around the defender. So when you're slipping, look at this. Instead of running into his back mindlessly, because if you don't pay attention and you don't try to improve on this, you will just keep running into people. But look, look at the angle I take. I slightly curve around him. Look, I slightly curve around him. And because, look, a lot of you guys in this situation would just ran straight to the paint and got on his back, and you don't get the board. But because I'm conscious of this and I make an effort, guys, this is about effort and mentality. Look, I go slightly around him. And then when you jump for the board, always look, I'm jumping right here, right? Always time your jump. This is for every rebound. When you time your jump, as soon as it's about to hit the rim, like right here, a frame right before it, jump. You can see as the ball hits the rim, I'm hitting triangle. And because I maneuvered around him and I timed the rebound, I get the board. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's how you do it. And immediately, look, remember, when you pull the board, look at your corners. Okay, I throw the corner read. It ain't there. I go up to try to set a screen for my guard. Look, as soon as you see a defender reach, jump, anything, get out of there, right? Boom. So because there's no point. Because if I stay up any longer than I did, now my defender could guard my guard and me. So if you see a defender jump, reach, run out of the play, that's your cue to get to the paint. So check this out. Boom, he jumps. I'm out of there. I was going to set a screen, but he jumps, so I'm out. And I immediately go for positioning. Look, I immediately go for positioning. Think of it as you beat him to the spot, and then you box out. Look, boom, boom. I beat him to that dead zone. The quicker you get to that dead zone, the more rebounds you get. I beat him there. Hold L2. Look, I time the jump. The ball hits the rim. I'm hitting triangle. Granted, sometimes you don't always get the huge jump. But also, look, sometimes you're going to get hoed too. I forgot this was a part of the clip. But don't get frustrated, man. Look, I did everything in my power right. Sometimes, Ronnie 2K, Mike Wayne just fucks you. You get the box out, you beat him to the dead zone, and you get fucked. But don't let it get to you. Keep grinding. Now, this is going to be a great clip for you guys. When should you use your timeouts? You get 4 of them a game, and I know you guys probably get 3 seconds in the paint, a lot more than you sometimes want to. I'm going to show you guys a situation where I am willing to use a timeout for myself to bail me out of that situation. So I actually, and always go for every rebound too. So my guard shoots a wide open fade. He's going to miss it. So look, there's no way I'm going to get this rebound, right? But don't worry about it. Go in that paint and try to get a board. So I get down there, and listen, if you try, you'll sometimes get it. I get the board, but look at the animation I get. Whenever you get bumped up like this and you're in the paint, immediately call a timeout. Don't pass, don't spin move, don't drop step, don't do nothing. Because when he bumps you, that's a movable enforcer activating, and it's going to give you that stumble animation. So if you ever get this bump, this is a great time to call a timeout, guys. Or if you pump fake in the paint and you know you're not going to be able to pass and run out of the paint, that's another great time to use the timeout. But this is one of the scenarios where you don't use your timeouts. Use your timeouts. Don't be afraid to use 1 or 2 timeouts a game to save a possession. This is a great example. And look, I even make it out of the paint, but because I see this animation, I'm calling the timeout, bro. I made it out of the paint. I'm the one that called the timeout. But always use your timeouts. Don't be afraid to use them. In this clip, I'm going to show you guys what an open dunk looks like after you pull down the rebound. I've been telling you guys, when you pull the rebound down, look at your corners, look at your wings, and then look for your dunk. Well, what happens when you're actually ready to take that dunk, and when should you be taking the dunk? Now, a quick tip before we get to that part of this clip. See, anytime there's 3 seconds left and you can't set a screen for anybody, or you're not actively getting somebody open, with 3 seconds left, your sole focus of the possession is to get to the paint and get a box out so you can save your possession by getting the offensive rebound. So at this point, I'm down here. I already set my screen. I slipped. Now, 4 seconds left. You're not going to be able to come up and get the guard open because you got to run up there. He got to dribble towards you. It's not enough time. So what you could do is what I do to centers all the time, that when I'm trying to get down in the paint, is I'll come up like 2 steps to bait him. Watch how he comes up. He has to follow me, right? So he comes up, and look, I immediately get around him. Look at that. Boom. I immediately get around him. I get to the dead zone. Always get to the dead zone first, and look how I immediately hit the box up. But look, when you pull this board down and the defender is behind you, you can take this dunk. Should I hit the right corner? Yes. As a big man, that's your first read. But if you ever get the defender on your back, look at this green window. I have gold rise up. Look. Because he's behind me, it's like a point guard or a shooting guard. You know when they do the little hesitation and then the defender's on their back and they get crabbed and they shoot it, it's wide open. It's the same thing for big men. If the defender's ever on your back, look at that green meter. You could take this all day. If you want to pump fake it, you could pump fake it so he doesn't get some bullshit on you. And you will, as long as he's behind you, you're good to go. So I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when it is time to dunk the ball. This is when you should be doing it. Defender's on your back. It's a free 2 every time. Hit the corner, but if you want to dunk it, this is the best dunk in the game. Now, with this screen, I'm going to show you guys when you shouldn't actually hold circle. So when you come up, you don't always have to actually hold circle. What you should do in this scenario, you see how my PG is far to the left and the defender is running towards him, right? So when I go to set this screen, I'm going to act like I'm setting it because I know my PG is going to come back this way. And because the defender's chasing him, he doesn't need my screen to get open. So what you could do is sometimes when the defender's late to getting back, you could come up like you're going to set the screen so that way you draw the big out of the paint. If he was a good big, he'd be up here trying to guard my guard because my PG probably has 20, 30 points by now. Or it's 14 points, but by the end of the game, right? But you could actually fake this screen knowing your PG is going to beat him anyway, and then you could go down and get your dead zone. Look, boom, he shoots it, and I'm always trying to get to that dead zone. This might be the best clip of the whole video. This is going to be like a 20-second clip where I get like 3 offensive rebounds, and we end up with a dunk. So we start off by screening. All the advice I've previously told you, think about what we've learned and apply it in your head while you're watching this clip. It'll all make sense. I set the screen. I go, he steps up, so I slip it. My PG's going to find a shot or pass the ball, shoots it. Now, look, this is another way you can box out. If the big ever beats you to the dead zone, this is the counter. Look, I'm there. but then he gets it before me. If you're too far, if the center's ever too far under the basket, you can actually box him out behind the basket. Look, this might be the best box out in the entire game. If you ever are able to box a center out like this, it is your board every time. He's literally behind the backboard. So if he ever beats you dead zone, you could try to force him into this. If you're ever fucked, this is your best way, is to force him under the basket and try to get this. So I pull it down, I get it, and I look at my corners immediately. My corners ain't open. Look to the top of the key. That's my read. He gets it. Shoots it. Look, when I immediately pass it, I know he's going to shoot it. So instead of sitting still thinking he's going to make it, I'm like, okay, pass, boom. How can I get this rebound? How can I get this box out? Immediately, I go back to the dead zone, and I immediately hold out two. Look at that. I don't sit still. I don't think he's going to make it. I get the board. I pass it. And then it's back to grind time, baby. It's back to being the best big man in the game. Look, that little movement, frame by frame, is how you become. That separates an average center to an elite center. Is when you make this pass, you're immediately switches on. You're moving your player slightly, immediately getting the box out and ready to pull this board down. Look at the timing. Ball hits the rim. I'm hitting triangle. I'm getting up on that motherfucker, grabbing that shit, okay? I pull it. Look, I look at my corner, not open, wing not open, top of the key not open, but I know my PG is going to be trailing back down because he's coming back from defense. So he gets it, shoots the corner fade, which you should be expecting if you're playing with good players. And look, I pass the ball, and what do? You could go set the screen, but I know him. I know I'm used to my player. He's going to go shoot the fade. So I get it. Boom. I'm immediately running back to the dead zone. And look, the moment I get around him, the moment my hips, pay attention to your hips. Look at your waist. When you get your waist around him, that's when you hold out two and shove your stick right into him. Pause. But look, boom, I get to the dead zone, immediate box out. Dead zone. I'm even sprinting from this position. I pass and I sprint. Dead zone, immediate box out, and I pull it. Hold the L2. Time your jump. You time your jump. You should get this 8 times out of 10 unless the game fucks you. Pull this ball down. And then now I'm looking at my reads. I'm like, okay, PG's running back on defense. Top of the key ain't open. Wings ain't open. But the defender's on my back. Defender's on my back. What do we do, Chad? Dunk that motherfucker. Boom. Another quick tip for you guys. Look at how much I'm moving on the screen. Look, I'm literally walking towards the defender. You will get called for illegal screens. Now, you can move on screens slightly. My tip for you to avoid illegal screens if you're having trouble, you can move while you're holding it, but let go of your stick as soon as he's about to hit it. If you get good at doing that, you can kind of cheat the screens and you'll get, it's like a skill gap thing. If you do it too much, you get called for it, but you can move your screens, but you got to make sure you stop as soon as he's about to hit it. Got the halftime stats here, 8 offensive rebounds, close game. But look, man, I'm just going to say it one time, bro. Look, abuse your pump fakes, bro. You dunk it a few times, he's going to start jumping. Feel free, because look, when I pump fake, look, he's contesting me, right? He has interior defense. Look, I pump. Look at how big the meter is, chat. Look at how big the meter is. Don't be afraid. If he ever jumps and you pump it and you have the opportunity, pump fake it, he jumps, wait for him to come down, free dunk every time. Just another clip, man, of lining up your PG. Look, I line up the screen right there. And look, that's what I'm saying. You can move your screens if you let go of your, look, I let go of the stick as soon as I'm about to hit. Look, I'm moving, I let go of the stick right here. He hits it. Free three for my PG every time, man. And this is one of my last tips for you guys. Go for every single rebound, but this is more about the timing. Look, I got not only defense, but offense. Look, I got 4 players I'm trying to out-rebound. You always time your jump as the ball hits the rim. Look, I'm the first one to time it. You look at my feet. As soon as the ball hits the rim, I hit triangle, and because I timed it, I get it. Timing is huge. Even though the guy behind me greens the rebound, even though I didn't get a green animation, I promise you, this is the timing you're looking for. Always hit triangle right here. I need you guys to really focus. Look at this. Hit triangle right here. You will get that motherfucker every time. Every time. Yes, sir. So if you made it this far in the video, you're a grinder, you're a geek, and you want this shit bad, bro. So I appreciate y'all, man. And please just drop that like if you haven't. Twitch every day, and I'm going to give you guys the most sweatiest tip of the whole video. You guys made it this far, I'm giving you guys the sauce. So check this out. Whenever you want to, like, this dead zone is the most important thing on your bake. Look, here's how you cheese the 3 seconds, right? Look, I come out the paint, I'm in there. In case that corner guy shoots it, I hold the box out. I notice he's not going to shoot the catch and shoot. So, all right, he's not open. Let me come out the paint. Because there's nothing you could do. You can't go over, set a screen. If you're on a popper, you could go spot up. But we're not talking about spotting up. We're talking about getting rebounds. So, look, the guard doesn't shoot it. I'm ready for the board. I reset the 3 seconds. Okay, he isn't open. Look, I come out the paint and reset the 3 seconds. Get around my defender, back to the dead zone. That's exactly how you play that, chat. When you need to get a rebound and it's end of the shot clock, and then to avoid the 3 seconds, you literally just run in and out. And every time you run in and out, get that dead zone. Here's another thing, chat. Look, I'm on the slip. Guard shoots it, even though he makes it look. He's behind me. He almost gets around me. But because, look at my waist. I told you guys, look at the waist. Because when I hold L2, I try to beat him to the dead zone. I see he's catching up to me. This is as close as I could get to the basket before he passes me. If I waited any longer, he could have boxed me out. But because I'm looking at my hips, I'm like, okay, we're good. Hold L2. Boom. Look at how I would have got this rebound if he missed. I barely get that box out. Look, I barely get it. Look. Boom. That's how you do it. That's how you become a good center. Right there. That's how you do it. Yes, sir. So I just recorded all that for you guys. I don't even know. I probably was yapping that whole video, but I really tried to get in depth. I really gave you my raw, authentic self. I have like funny videos, and I try to be more chill, but when I really want to help you guys out, like I truly do put my passion into it, my knowledge into it, and it might come off as yapping sometimes, but I'm really trying to give you guys my all, my 100%. Like when I'm reviewing them clips, I'm making them for you guys. I'm really trying to just give you all my energy and my focus to break it down the best I can. So I appreciate y'all, man. And if you guys have any more questions about rebounding or center stuff, let me know. That's my main position. But you guys are going to see a lot of videos on my lockdown, my point guards. We're going to play everything, bro. We're going to play some comp. We're going to play some rec. Man, you guys know what I do, bro. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I gave you guys my best, man. Peace.